Hey everybody, welcome to Token Nerd Podcast. We ramble on about geeky things ranging from Batman to pop figures to Star Wars. I'm Anthony Pettiford.
I'm Travis Lynkins.
All right, we're back for episode three. Well, two, depending on how you're listening to it. Uploaded our second episode, and we started noticing that the views weren't really coming in, and just out of nowhere, I checked my email and was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, your second episode was taken down due to inappropriate, like we had violated an agreement with YouTube, and it's confusing because as you've watched our videos, there's nothing there. Like I mean, it's just a, a slide.
Apparently, we nerded too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But so we're back, and hopefully this episode doesn't get taken down right away. But we'll get the second lost episode up as soon as possible. But let's kind of go over this week. I mean, I feel like there's been a lot of stuff going on, but at the same time, it's been kind of dead. Not as exciting as it was when Star Wars and all that stuff was getting ready to come out.
I mean, The Martian won a Golden Globe for Best Comedy.
Oh yeah, and well, I mean, stranger things have happened.
I mean, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was the main purpose of the movie.
All right. Well, for as a lot of you know, this is going to go up on Thursday. But Tuesday night we happened to see that during the relaunch of the Flash, or after the winter break, they released a 30-minute like sneak show like they used to do back in the old days before YouTube was leaking trailers early. Kevin Smith and Jeff Johns of DC Comics came on and they did a short, like kind of not tell all, but they introduced like the characters of the Justice League, and they announced basically who was going to be in the Justice League movie. It was called Dawn of Justice League instead of Dawn of Justice.
Man, they're getting creative on these
Oh,
titles.
they really are. And so one of the cool things that they introduced were obviously they showed the first ever footage of the Wonder Woman movie, which I think is incredible that we haven't seen. We've seen pictures recently. We saw pictures of her wearing uh, kind of I know there's a style that she's wearing, but it's back when she's in like World War One, and she has kind of that hat on.
Yeah.
I can't think of what the hat's called. It has a name. It's driving me crazy. But you see her, just dressed kind of conservatively, but she has her shield and sword in her hand.
Yeah.
And behind her is Chris Pine, who's going to play Steve Trevor. Steve Trevor, or not Steve Trevor, but Chris Pine was said to be Hal Jordan in the new Green Lantern movie, which is what everyone was expecting. But for those of you who don't know, Steve Trevor is kind of the damsel in distress in the Wonder Woman movies. He's kind of her sidekick. He goes along with her, and he gets caught or he gets in trouble, and she has to save him. But they said like his relationship with her is going to be really really cool. And I'm actually really excited to see him and Gal Gadot act off each other, because I didn't see the Fast and the Furious with her in it,
Yeah.
so I wasn't really aware of her accent. And I think it's cool that Wonder Woman's going to have an accent in the new upcoming movie because she's not from here.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited about that movie. Obviously, it's been building up for a while. We had prior Wonder Woman talks that kind of disappeared, and then we
A TV
get
show.
TV show, and then we get there's going to be a Justice League movie that nobody ever thought was
Ever going to
ever
happen.
going to happen, and then all of a sudden, hey, we're going to turn all this into a Justice League thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of cool and exciting to see how she's going to fit in, how the whole thing's going to come together, really, and I mean they're kind of betting the farm on the Batman versus Superman, kicking this off.
But I'll be honest, they're not wrong. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm sold already.
yeah.
Like I was excited for Star Wars, but I'm even more excited. This is my thing.
I mean, I gotta say, like, I was a little skeptical,
Mm-hmm.
and I will say the previews for everything has kind of made me a little more excited than I was before. Um, obviously, I'm going to go see it, but I'm just not 100% sold yet. I'm just not.
Yeah, no, I get you. But before we move on to talking about Batman versus Superman, I just want to briefly talk about the footage that was shown. We actually got to see Wonder Woman fight, and there seems to be a little bit of like the 300 feel. Like there's a
Yep.
point where she's fighting some. I want to say. I want to say they're American soldiers. They look like American soldiers that she was
They're
fighting.
warriors of some sort.
Yeah, but she's knocking them out, and there's a point where it hits in slow motion where she knocks one guy out.
Yeah.
And so it looks awesome. And I hope that's the style because when I thought about Wonder Woman movie, I really want it to be Clash of the Titans led by a female role.
Yeah.
Like I want it to be dead on Clash of the Titans with fighting gods, but this looks just as good, and the fight scenes aren't going to be taken away because I was worried with it being a World War I kind of war movie that how well is she going to do? She's not going to swing her sword around and block a ton of bullets because that's not realistic. But it looks like they're gonna. And so the rumor was back when Man of Steel came out, there was a comic that also came out at the same time, and it followed because in Man of Steel, Superman finds a ship that starts off the whole story. Well, it shows you, and there's that pod that's open. If you notice when he's walking through, he sees a pod and it's already open. Well, what happened was technically Supergirl. It was Kara Zor-El. She crash landed on the planet thousands of years ago, and then the end of the comics, her getting out and walking off. So the idea is that she might have started the Amazons. The Amazons are descendants of a Kryptonian somehow. But anyway, so we see Wonder Woman, and at one point she's on a horse running
Yep.
towards a blockade.
Yep.
A horse.
A horse.
That's
Yeah,
so
I
cool.
was totally thrown away. I was like, Wonder Woman rides a horse? Question mark.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so thrilled about them taking this risk.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely an interesting take, and I think really I'm more interested in the aspect of Wonder Woman footage um, than I ever thought I would be in a Wonder Woman movie.
Hmm.
She's not really a character I've followed, and it's just this was really an interesting look, and it's not something I would expect from a superhero type movie either.
Yeah. Well, they had to be careful because with Wonder Woman coming out, people were already saying, "Oh, we need a Wonder Woman movie," but no one really wanted a Wonder Woman. Like everyone kept saying it needed to happen because there needs to be a female led, but no one was really interested. No
Yeah,
one knows her origin. No one knows anything about her.
yeah,
But that's why this movie had to come out strong. Where it's like, oh yeah, I want to see this
yeah. Because
movie.
if not, she ends up like a Black Widow type character where she's in a bunch of movies, but I don't know that we'll ever get a whole movie.
Yeah, and I also want to defend that thought process.
Yeah,
Black Widow doesn't deserve a movie. Well, not deserve,
but
but she wouldn't be interesting in her own movie. I
yeah,
don't think.
but Wonder Woman, because of the I don't want to say lack of interest, but like a lot of people not knowing about her, kind of puts her in that case where you could tell her story through another story,
Hmm.
and kind of get all the high points, and that's kind of they could have went that direction.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious on how because she's gonna first appear in Dawn of Justice. I'm so curious on how she's going to be portrayed because the way we're gonna look at it is Superman's been Superman for maybe a year, maybe 2 years. Batman's been Batman for 20 years. She's been Wonder Woman for maybe 300.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see also because of the way the footage looked. Um, is it going to be like an entire flashback movie? Because or is it going to be kind of like with the Marvel universe where it's kind of out of order how they released them
Hmm.
and as far as the how the story chronologically would go. Obviously, if we're going to see her first in Dawn of Justice, obviously it's not going to line up. So we'll
Yeah,
see how
I
that's going
I
to.
kind of have a feeling that Dawn of Justice is gonna like the last 10 minutes is when she's gonna show up, and then we're gonna have her movie, and it's gonna fill in the blanks of where she was, and then we're gonna get the Justice League movie itself. But
When is Aquaman slated? Is it
I
before?
don't remember
It's
when.
got to be before, right? The
No,
Justice League
I'm
movie.
pretty sure it's after. I'd have to look again. I haven't really looked. I don't remember seeing the Aqu. I know it's slated, but I
Yeah,
don't remember when. But
yeah,
I mean, apparently he's gonna be a big part. They have figures of him already, so I
yeah,
mean, it's not like he's like a rumor was he was just gonna be in a test, like in a tank,
yeah. Or
trapped.
just like a clip cameo. Like, oh, here
Yeah,
I am.
but I mean, like Hot Topic has his pop figure plus a blue figure, which I'm assuming is him underwater.
Yeah,
But but yeah, so that's the one movie footage top or news that I'm for. I was very happy with it. It wasn't a trailer.
yeah. It's just kind of like clips.
Yeah, and we didn't really hear her talk. We heard Gal Gadot talk over, but we
Yeah,
didn't hear her talk as Wonder Woman. But I can only assume she's gonna have an accent, and I that's how I want her to have an accent. I want her to be a fish out of water, kind of what Captain America was, but time. But like, not only is, but she's a woman from a frozen society,
yeah.
which does not need man and man's stupidity. So, but yeah, that was one part of the Justice League Dawn of the or Justice League Dawn of Justice League, the CW Dawn of the Justice League. The second thing they showed was the technically this is the first official trailer for Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Now it's the second because someone obviously leaked the one from SDCC over the summer. But you saw it, so what do you think of the trailer in general?
I really like the use of the music. First off, I thought that was a very interesting take on the movie. I got to say, from seeing all the leaked pictures and like images and things coming out of the movie, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know about this.
Hmm.
But like seeing it in a trailer, I was a little more like, oh, they might have did okay with this. Still seeing Will Smith, and I kind of would rather seen somebody I didn't recognize.
Yeah.
But it's just I thought Killer Croc looked good.
Yeah, oddly enough, I didn't
Yeah,
think he did. I thought he looked like a piece of crap.
you thought he
Like,
looked bad. I was like, yeah, he looks okay.
well, I mean, obviously
I mean, he's
after,
not like he's not like Killer Croc like normal, but like I was kind of expecting some really bad CGI on
yeah.
this
So I wonder if he's gonna be like, so I'm curious on his backstory.
movie. Yeah,
So I'm wondering if you think he's gonna be like someone who like how there's a lot of African tribes who they like pinched and burned their skin till it made scales, like hard scales, and he filed his teeth. I thought it looked like he filed his
yeah,
teeth, or he could actually just be a crocodile man.
yeah.
But no, I this seems to be the theme now with a lot of movies. Like we're starting out with like kind of an upbeat soundtrack
Yeah.
because Guardians of the Galaxy, ooka chaka, ooka,
Yeah,
like
I feel like they kind of kicked that off in the because it
and
was
Star Trek.
yeah,
Star Trek did it too, but I mean it worked. It
yeah,
worked because it wasn't just like the music played over it.
yeah.
Where I didn't feel
It kind
like
of worked with it.
it worked with it,
Yeah,
and I didn't feel
and
like
they stopped and started it to
hmm
kind of like go with the like so they could have like Harley Quinn talk and whatnot.
I okay, so I wasn't sure about Margot. I'm a huge Harley Quinn fan, as you
Yeah.
can tell from walking into my room and you see all the figures I have. Pop figures. I don't have. I want to clear. I want to clarify that.
He actually has a life size mannequin.
Don't tell them that. But no, and never mind. So, but I love that part where she like goes, "What? Kill them all and escape?" And she goes, "Ha, ha, just kidding."
Yeah,
Or she said, "Voices in my head, just kidding." That's not what they said. I love that because I
yeah,
like the fact that she's bonkers.
yeah. I think it made it it kind of makes it more interesting
It does.
because like again, I wasn't terribly interested in the movie, so like that kind of like made it to where I'm like, well, I wonder what's going on there. Like, what is she doing? Is she going to be kind of like the leader? Like, what?
No, it's gonna.
I didn't think so.
No, the
But
leader's gonna be Rick Flag.
okay,
Rick Flag is gonna be the handler for the Suicide Squad.
gotcha.
But the one person I really hope has a bigger role, and they will, is Viola Davis as Amanda Waller.
Okay,
Because Amanda Waller to me is one of my favorite characters in the DC comics because, like, this mostly came from not reading the comics with her in it, but the Justice League animated series.
okay,
Uh, she's like the one person who could always shut Batman up. Like Batman was intimidated by her, and I that's what I really wanted to see come into this picture is like here's someone who, the president, there's Batman, but she holds all the cards at almost at all points in time. Like she, I don't know if in this movie she'll know who Batman is, but she keeps it to herself because you never know when down the line she'll need that.
isn't Batman going to be in the movie though? Like they showed the car, right?
And it's a flashback.
That's a flashback.
I think that's like I that might be a flashback for Harley Quinn, and that's
Okay.
like her
How she
first.
maybe how she got locked up in the first place.
Well, or yeah, how she met the Joker because you
Yeah,
see that point in the first trailer. It's that part where it's like I'm not gonna hurt you, or I'm
yeah,
not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you really
yeah,
really bad. That was Harley on the table, and he's going to torture her. I
yeah.
assume in like torture to madness. But let's talk about Jared Leto because boy was looking like he was having a blaster in this trailer.
Yeah, he did. Really, I don't know what he was doing exactly, but
And I kind of like I like the idea that this is the Chaos Joker. I
yeah,
mean, no, Heath Ledger was the Chaos Joker. This is just a psychopath.
yeah. This is just the crazy
Yeah,
Joker. Like,
Heath Ledger's Joker had a purpose for doing
yeah,
things. Jack Nicholson was a gangster. I want him to just do things sporadically.
yeah. Kind of all just being totally crazy. Like not doing it to like, um, like rob a bank or anything like that, but just doing things just to do it.
Yeah, there was that scene you see me like. I'll be honest, like when we were at C2E2. No,
Yeah.
I was at C2. You didn't go last year,
No, I
but
was not there
that's when they released the first image of him with the
with the tattoos.
purple glove and the tattoos, and I hated it. And I'm still not 100% on the
Yeah,
tattoos. Um, but I loved the teeth, and I didn't
yeah,
think I would, but I like the idea like Batman punched this dude in the face so many times that they give him dentures.
yeah,
But yeah, so he looked awesome. Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang. We're really, really, really trying to make Jai Courtney happen.
yeah. They're really trying.
Um, and like I've had friends who were who messaged me this morning, and it was like, so out of the Suicide Squad, who are you? and I was like, Deadshot. Is it because he's black? No, it's not because he's black.
Because he's Will Smith.
No, and see the thing is, I'm not a big Will Smith fan as Deadshot because they took Deadshot off of Arrow, and I really like the guy who played. I
Yeah,
like that character, and they took him off because they want conflicting characters. Just like Harley Quinn was going to be an Arrow, but they took her off too,
yeah.
and I did not. That's why I was really against the Suicide Squad because I'm more of the TV realm. But
Well, I mean, that's where DC is thriving.
yeah,
I mean, barring like betting on all these Justice League movies and Suicide Squad, that's where DC is thriving.
really?
The DC universe is thriving in on TV.
Oh, on TV. Okay, I
Yeah,
thought you
yeah,
meant
on TV.
movies. Okay.
No, I mean, barring like the success of these movies.
Okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
got you. Okay, I was confused for a second. I was like, 'cause
I mean,
definitely the
yeah,
TV is where they're kicking
yeah, and I
butt.
mean, and to the extent that I feel like Marvel felt like they were kind of losing in that world, so they created Agent Carter, and then all the Netflix series. So like they're trying to catch. They were trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But there's a lot to talk about with Suicide Squad. Like we see Enchantress. Who else is in it? We talked about Killer Croc. There's Rick Flag, who we didn't really mention, and you kind of see him on and off. Uh,
I mean, we didn't really learn a terrible
Diablo.
amount about the movie.
No,
It's hey, there's a group of bad guys.
but the trailer
We're gonna
itself was
make it.
chaotic.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah,
all
yeah.
over the
But I
place.
mean, we didn't learn anything about the movie.
Yeah.
Really, except for hey, there's a group of guys and they're going to team up and a girl.
Hmm.
Like they're going to team up
Well, the way
and they're going to go fight something.
yeah, what I assume is like they're gonna have their first mission, and then from that first mission, it's gonna be like they have to stop the Joker. So they do two different things. Like they'll have two missions in this movie,
Yeah.
and then they'll go off and do their own thing. But yeah, overall, very much
Yeah. I'm
I liked
interested
it.
in the movie.
I am too, and it comes out.
It's in August.
August,
right?
yeah.
It was like the 6th or the 20th.
I think it's the sixth because we'll have Batman v Superman in March, and then
Yeah.
so two movies this year. That's
Yeah.
pretty awesome. But just quickly, since we mentioned Agent Carter, she also came out. Her first episode was yesterday, on Tuesday.
Okay.
I unfortunately, and we're supposed to have a podcast. We talk about it. I didn't get to see it because I was, obviously I was watching the Dawn of Justice League and Flash. Like it
I
took
told you, Marvel's trying to catch up.
I know, but like to me, the DC stuff trumps.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean the TV stuff is where it's at.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I'll catch up with Agent Carter, and then when Agents of Shield comes back on, like I'll catch up with them.
Speaking of Marvel trying to catch up, do you think there's anything tied to dropping the Daredevil, the new Daredevil season on the same day that Dawn of Justice comes out? Do you think that was done on purpose, or do you think it was just coincidence?
Everything's done on purpose.
I don't think it's going to affect the sales of Dawn of Justice. Like nobody's going to be like, oh man, I'm going to watch this thing on Netflix instead of going to the movie.
Yeah, but I feel like it was a dick move because originally Captain America
yeah.
3 and Batman v Superman, then Batman v Superman moved, and then now they're putting another thing. Like that's a dick move. But
I really don't think it's going to stop anything.
people don't understand if okay, so let's say it comes. Okay, so we have Daredevil and we'll have Dawn of Justice. That means at midnight I go see Dawn of Justice.
Yeah.
I go home and then I just binge watch
Yeah.
another awesome superhero.
And I think that's exactly what everybody's going to do. I don't think anybody wins. Like either company wins in this case.
Yeah, I don't know why they're thinking that. Oh, because this is coming out, I'm not gonna go
Yeah.
see Dawn of Justice.
I mean, if you dropped, Captain America and Dawn of Justice on the same day in the theaters, then it would compete.
Yeah, they'd come in for opening night because,
Yeah.
but then not for the weekend because you'll have people going to the weekend to movies twice. I'd go Friday then Saturday,
Yeah.
or Saturday Sunday.
I mean, there might be some limited dollars like in like the family market.
I don't believe in it.
I don't know. I don't know that like families are going to go see Dawn of Justice though.
Oh, I do. I take my infant.
I mean, it just seems a little dark.
A little bit, but I was trying to time out the point of having a kid so I could take them to this movie, so me and my child could share this experience. But
I just think that Marvel has done a clearly better job of balancing the kid friendly.
Yeah.
Then DC's universe is a lot darker, and it has been.
yeah, well, that's the weird part is that Suicide Squad is going to be like it's supposed to be dark and violent, or it's supposed to be very violent but funny. Kind of what we're expecting from Daredevil, but obviously, like you said, it's not family friendly.
I don't think I'd let my 6-year-old kid watch Daredevil.
Oh no.
Yeah, I wouldn't let him watch. Definitely wouldn't let him watch Jessica Jones.
Mm-mm. Most awkward thing is I watched Jessica Jones with my mom. And obviously the first 4 episodes are really rough, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh, ugh,
yeah, yeah. That was I was
rough.
watching. And I was kind of like, wow, this is
This is
yeah. Like
all.
imagine if you just stumbled upon this. You didn't really know anything about it. You were just like, whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah, you wouldn't even assume that they were in the same universe. but but yeah, so like that's just some exciting stuff for the superhero realm. But
Yep.
if we want to get onto the idea of franchises, the Terminator franchise,
Yeah.
the
Terminator.
reboot ish
The reboot ish that was not.
timeline, yeah. So we were supposed to get a trilogy for the new Terminator series that
Yeah.
started after Genesis. Well, we just got word that it's not happening anymore. Um, if you want like describe because they put a lot of money into this movie
Yeah.
and didn't make anything in comparison.
Yeah. I mean, 90 million out of 150 when you made it. I mean, it's obviously a hard loss in the U.S. We don't have the world numbers, but it. See, my thing with
It's
the
about
movie is,
440 million worldwide,
so I mean,
but still, that's
it's still
not.
not. By the time you like put into like advertising and all that stuff, I think the biggest thing with this movie, personal opinion, I saw it. Terminator fan. Um, I didn't hate it,
Yeah.
but I also didn't. I kind of look at it like the prequels for Star Wars. I also don't hate those.
Hmm.
Um, my biggest thing was they ruined the movie, and how they did it was with the preview.
Right.
Why did they reveal that John Connor's a robot in the preview?
Or that even makes it to the past. Like
Like,
they could have just left that out. I didn't see the movie, so I really
yeah,
have no footing to complain or even
yeah,
judge it. But you did, so that's why I'm
yeah.
gonna.
I mean, they should have left that for the movie. Like the whole time, I would have been like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then maybe like halfway through, you might have been like, "Something's going on here," like something's weird. But instead, I'm like, "Oh, eventually he's going to tell him he's a robot."
Hmm.
Like, so I mean, to me, you just kind of ruined the whole movie.
Well, it's like how people were complaining about Dawn of Justice showing Doomsday and
Yeah,
Batman and Superman being friends. Well, this like revealed the entire plot twist,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so,
It just ruined. It ruined like everybody that wanted to see that movie was like, "Oh, I'll just get it on DVD or
mhm.
Blu-ray or rent it from Redbox or something." I mean, like nobody was. I mean, I went to the theater, but it was like on a cheap night
Yeah.
because like I just like going to the theater for things like that. But it just. I mean, I would have liked to see them make a good movie, and I would have liked to see a trilogy of new movies, just because I enjoy the property. Um, but again, the preview ruined it
Yeah.
because essentially at the end of that movie they've reset everything.
Hmm.
Like,
And that's a smart. That was a
yeah,
smart way to like start it
yeah,
because it was kind of like what Star Trek did.
yeah.
But
Well, and they also had the issue with Terminator Salvation. So, like, they had that movie
mhm,
where obviously Arnold Schwarzenegger couldn't be in it.
yeah,
So they had to do something in order to correct that.
yeah,
So basically, we'll screw with the timeline a little more because obviously it's Terminator, so we can do whatever we want to the timeline.
Days of Future Past it.
Yeah, and we'll just reset everything.
Hmm.
And I mean, they when they combined, they actually changed Terminator at the end. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a combination of two different Terminators now, like two different types of Terminator. So I mean, they introduced something interesting to the movie. Like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen
Yeah,
with
they
that.
advanced the plot
Yeah,
further, but now it
and
doesn't matter.
and now it doesn't matter.
Because I know they were talking about having a TV time. Like they were going all franchise, like
Yeah,
3 movies, and then having different TV series. Maybe it was just 1 or 2,
yeah.
but in between.
So like, not with Arnold though.
No.
Obviously. Like just other random Terminators.
Maybe because I know
They could have got.
it might have been other survivors, like other generals that would have been in the future, and like how they got to the point.
Okay.
That's what I'm assuming, but
That
we'll
would
never
have.
know now.
I
It would have
mean,
been cool.
I'd watch it.
Yeah, so would I. But yeah, so that's
Netflix.
yeah Netflix. But so basically, yeah, Terminator Genesis is no longer. But let's move on to movies that are actually gonna happen.
Darn.
Yeah. Well, so here are some movies that everyone is going to see anyway. One of which, no matter what day this movie was going to be on, everyone in the world is going to see, even if it was Christmas Day, and that is Star Wars Episode 8, which is currently untitled, but it was originally going to be slated for, I believe it was May 26, 2017, and now they've moved it to 2000 or December
December.
15th,
Yeah.
which I think is smart. I like the idea
Yeah.
of keeping them all in the Christmas time.
Yeah. I mean, well, the May thing is because Star Wars traditionally has always been released in May. So that's where the May thing comes from.
Hmm.
But I think they're setting it up to add more anthology films.
Yeah.
So to where we get a calendar that's kind of like Marvel, where we get at least 2 movies a year.
Hmm.
I think I would assume that's why they're doing it. So we'll have like an anthology movie in May, and then we'll have a chronological movie,
Skywalker film.
Skywalker film in December. I would say that's what they're trying to do here.
Yeah.
And also the fact that Episode 8 is obviously filming now, in production right
And Rogue One is in post
now, in
production, I
post
believe.
production. But I mean, you've only got 17 months ish for the May release that they were slated originally
Hmm.
to finish filming, edit the movie, do any kind of like CGI stuff you need to do, advertise the movie, and release the movie. And all the press that has to go along with that, all the actors need to go out and do magazine shoots, be on
And
like,
junkets.
go to late night TV shows and whatnot. So I mean, it's a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
It just really is in that short amount of time, and to do it right. So if they're backing it up because they're trying to make sure it's done right instead of just trying to make a buck, I'm
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that because we want quality. Like we,
Yep.
as fans, we want these movies obviously as quickly as possible. But I'd rather have
Yeah.
a really good movie and a franchise I enjoy. I mean, look at
I
Terminator.
mean, I don't think we
Not that was
got a
rushed.
2 year turnaround on any Star Wars movie.
No, it wasn't between A New Hope and Empire like 5 years. No.
No, it was 77 and 80, right? And then Jedi came out in 83.
Okay, yeah.
But
So it
I
was,
mean, like it was like a 3 year turnaround
Yeah.
for all of them. And I don't know when Clones came out. So like 99 was Phantom, and
I was in
then
fourth grade, so 2000. No.
it would have been like 2002.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So 99, 2002, 2005. So
Oh,
3 years between.
Yeah, I
those.
was in sixth grade. Sorry, I had to think about
Check
it.
our math, people, but it should have been something about 3 years for each one of those. So, and plus we're going to get other movies.
Yeah.
So nobody should be complaining about getting a pushback,
No. I mean,
except for
definitely not us.
except for the provenance that prior movies were released in May. That would be the only reason you can complain about this.
Yeah. But I mean, it'll be cool that they'll at least keep it standard so that we'll have our, like we said, Skywalker films in December, anthology films in May.
Yep.
And there'll be a fun thing to celebrate. It'd be cool if they did it May 4th, if that was when the anthology films came out. Like, that'd be the whole huge, keep it an event. Like, that's what made Star Wars so much fun for us.
Yep.
Like, yes, the movie itself was great, but for me, my favorite part was us going to Force Friday, going to the mall, and for all these other, like, Star Wars fun drives. Like, they were all,
Yeah.
it's just the event itself.
I would imagine also that if eventually they do start having the 2 movies a year, so let's say they start doing a May and a December, that kind of works with toy production and all kinds of stuff. They could do it. They could make that happen, and they can make it big enough that people were paying attention. In that situation, though, it probably does dry up like money in like the third quarter
Mm-hmm.
for like toys or whatever people are trying to buy.
Yeah.
I think it could get kind of busy if you're trying to release stuff for a new movie in 2 a year. I mean, but we'll see if they get there.
Yeah. Well, so we'll move on to another Disney film that is having a date change, or yeah, it's having a date move. This one I feel like everyone is more excited for, especially Star Wars in comparison. It's Disney's most profitable franchise, the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Yeah.
But I they're still going. I
They're
I,
still
I thought they
going.
decided not to do anymore.
Is Depp in this one?
I think so.
He's got to be.
He
I mean,
has
it's not
to
a
be.
movie without him, right?
No. Well, I know that Orlando Bloom was talking about this was going to be a reboot. They were going to try to reboot. I was like, it's not old enough to reboot.
I think when Orlando Bloom came out, they actually cited this movie as like his credential. Like like they put their name up there and then like what they're from.
Yeah.
I think they did during the Golden Globes. I really do. Because I remember thinking, I was like, oh, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. Well, it was originally slated for May 26th, 2017, and now they're pushing it to July 7th, 2017. And it will be Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Did you see Dead Man's Chest? Or was it Dead Man's Chest?
I think I only saw the first 2.
All
I
right.
think I gave up after that.
One was great. Loved one.
Which one's the Black Pearl?
Black Pearl was number one.
Okay. What's the second one called?
The second one was Pirates of the Caribbean and the Confusing Tale. And then there was Pirates of the Caribbean 3, the we have no idea how to end this franchise, so we're just going to have a giant whirlpool in the middle.
Oh, nope, saw that one.
Okay, so you saw 3. And then the fourth one had mermaids and
Oh crap! There was a fourth one. I was thinking there's only 3.
no, there was a fourth one.
I did not see the fourth one.
You cannot say you're gonna have a trilogy and then keep adding more. Well, dang it, Star Wars did.
Well, they made prequels.
They made prequels,
and then they made more. But 7, 8, 9 were always a possibility.
Mhm.
They just didn't think they would ever happen.
because the fans actually wanted more. See, what Pirates of the Caribbean, they just want more Jack Sparrow, and the hospitals are getting it. He's going to visit kids as that character. That's all we need.
Yeah.
We don't need any more stories.
And like, I mean, Johnny Depp is trying to get away from that as well.
Mhm.
He's trying to, get back to being that respected actor that he was
Yeah.
at one point, until people started hiring him to play Johnny Depp. I mean, he got to a point where Jack Sparrow and all these things, that's what people were hiring him to play. And I feel like it's kind of interesting that he would go back and get back in that again. Because, like, if you saw Black Mass, I mean, that's a totally different Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
That's I went to try on clothes from these people type Johnny Depp. He's been known to, like, become that person. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is a great example of that. Public Enemies was a good example of where he tried to become that person. And but Jack Sparrow, that's Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow. Like,
I mean, we're just gonna keep. Well, Disney at this point is just raking in money.
well, yeah,
I mean, so they're not gonna say no to a franchise. I mean, they own
well, and
Marvel.
it still has a big footprint at their parks, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the kind of thing they're going to try to keep it going.
When Disney got Lucasfilms, they got Indiana Jones too, right?
They did not immediately get that because Universal actually retained the rights to Indiana Jones.
Okay.
They quietly, after the purchase of Star Wars, bought it about a month or two later. So they own the rights to make any new movie. They do not own the rights to the prior 4.
Okay.
So those Universal still retain those. But it was like a month or two after Star Wars. It quietly happened and nobody knew about it.
Oh, well, so in a sense, we could have like the Disney park will be massive. We'll
Yeah,
have
they already
Indiana
have
Jones.
they already
Star
have an
Wars.
Indiana Jones thing at Disneyland. I know that.
How long
And they
till
just opened the Star Wars stuff. They have a whole section that includes props and things from the films and things like that.
they have a Jedi Academy. So my
Yeah.
question is, how awkward is it going to be when they tell me that I'm too old to go to the Jedi Academy?
He's too old to receive the training.
That should be a trip we do. That should be one of our podcasts.
You should, if your reply should be, I mean, they let Luke do it. They let Anakin do it. They said they were too old.
And they did it. Let me in. As the
I am
stormtroopers
the
are
chosen
dragging
one.
me away.
I am the chosen one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'd say Star Wars Park is not far away. I mean, I would say that they're going to add that. I would say when Universal loses the rights to the Hulk rides down at Adventure Island down in Florida, that a Marvel world is not out of the question as well at Disney.
Oh, they already plans for it. They had the Iron Man Hall of Armors that they're building.
Yeah, I mean it's similar to what they've done with Star Wars. There's not like actual rides. And
Oh yeah,
things.
rides, but there's exhibits.
Yeah, they're doing that, but I think their big holdup is probably the fact that Hulk, Spider-Man, a couple other things are tied up. Doom is tied up at Universal at the moment. I believe that runs out this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, since we're speaking of Marvel now, we can go on to like the first comic news that we've had in a while.
Ta-dum.
Yeah. Well, this one's gonna be a little brief because just a quick background. We were really big into comics. Once the New 52 happened, we were collecting Marvel and DC.
And it got expensive.
It got really expensive to the point where we're like, maybe we won't. Maybe I'll just
And
read
it
and
just
shop.
gets hard to keep up. There's a lot of reading. I mean, there was a lot of good stuff going on
Yeah.
that was interesting. And they did a great job of tying in titles that you normally wouldn't read.
Mhm.
And next thing you know, you're reading 25 comics a month. And you're like, holy crap, I can't keep up.
Well, my thing was it just turned into like every title had its own big event happening.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, I mean, I get it that that's what brings in money, but like, it was cool. Like when we really started, it was the Batman Court of Owls and Batman Death of the Family. Those were big events. And then it was like,
I enjoyed the Aquaman cartoon, or the comic as well.
yeah, the Throne of Atlantis.
Yep, that was a good one.
Aquaman was really good.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
Really good. But no, so let's talk about Captain America in the comics.
Yeah.
Because if you remember last year, I believe it was last year or 2 years ago, is when Captain America came back from Dimension Z. He came back as an old man. He could no longer be Captain America anymore. And so he ended up becoming, I think, the liaison or the mentor for the Avengers. But
The
Falcon,
Professor X of the Avengers.
kind of. But Falcon, Sam Wilson, took over as Captain America.
Yes, I remember this. It
And
wasn't like an NYCC or some sort of Comic Con. They kind of like handed that off.
I want to say it's NYCC.
Yeah.
But I just remember the storm that came after. Like Captain America is not supposed to be black. Oh my God, it's a different person. It's just the same title. God, people, this is why aliens don't visit us. But no. So, in recent months, like before we get into the main news, which is Cap returns. Like,
Way to blow it.
I mean, Steve Rogers comes back. I don't want to like hide that from people.
Yeah.
But like recently, I know Fox News, they have their in-house representative for the comic community, and he comes in and does his thing about Star Wars, or he'll talk about Captain America because they were feeling very targeted by one of the Captain America issues,
Yeah.
whereas they're called, I think, the Sons of the Serpent or Brothers of the Serpent. I think it was Sons of the Serpent, and they were killing and kidnapping immigrants as they're coming across the border, and they were a supremacist group, and Sam Wilson fights them. And so Fox News was just like, hey, don't represent us that way. Now, here's the thing, guys. If you instantly identify yourself as the villain,
There might be a problem.
yeah, there's a huge problem.
I mean, they had an issue when Spider-Man. We're going to make
That drives me crazy.
like a different race of Spider-Man. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
again, if you do it well, to me it doesn't matter.
no, it shouldn't matter. But, like, for the sake of it, should be
And
a
I'm not
great
going to
story.
hate it. Well, let me clarify.
Okay.
I'm not going to hate it because of the race of the person. I'm going to hate it because it was done crappy.
Yeah. Well, in the case of Spider-Man, it wasn't. Peter Parker is still white.
Yep.
It was Peter Parker died. Spoiler alert.
Yep.
And Miles Morales took over, and Miles Morales had a really cool story. It was very similar to Peter Parker's origin.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be, but whereas Peter Parker had Uncle Ben's death as
Yep.
the guilt that made him, he had Peter Parker's guilt that
Yep.
that moved him to be Spider-Man, and like the development, and they ended up making him a little bit better than Peter Parker in some ways. He had new powers, but that aside,
That's a,
Falcon is now Captain America. And I guess in the new comics, they're bringing back Cap.
yeah, with a new series.
Yeah.
It's not actually bringing it back just in the comic. It sounds like, from the release that Marvel gave us, that it's actually going to be 2 separate books. Because the book is titled Steve Rogers, Captain America.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it said #1,
Mhm.
so I'm assuming that's a whole new title.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because like we read, there is going to be Falcon, right? Like Falcon's still going to be Captain America.
It sounds like there's going to be 2 titles.
Okay, because I know in Marvel,
Again, add another title.
yeah, I know in Marvel right now because there is Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, all this
And
thing
Peter
coming
Parker
out of Battle World or whatever they're calling it, who knows what's going to be there? I mean, I saw that there's going to be a new Hulk title.
Yeah.
And I saw there was going to be this title and some other title that I can't recall. But like, who knows what's going to come out of this? Really,
Mhm.
I don't know, because usually there's some sort of like parallel going on where they're trying to introduce books that are tied to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
To kind of hype it up. I mean, they killed off Fantastic Four because whatever political reasons that
They don't
didn't
have
want to
rights to
advertise
make.
the movie.
Yeah, they can't make money off of them, so they don't. So why? Yeah, I
They-
get that.
They really killed off the Fantastic Four because they wanted to choke any kind of comic advertisement towards the movie.
Oh yeah.
That's why they did it.
Mhm.
But who knows what's really going to come out of this? I mean, I know we're getting to the conclusion. I think that the final title for that Battle World thing is going to hit.
I think it's done.
Is it done? Did it hit
Secret
already?
Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, we'll leave a link in the description.
Yep.
I am a fan of another YouTuber, the Comic Historian, Bailey the Comic Historian.
The guy that kind of like explains it and reads it to you.
Yeah, he
That's
just
good.
finished the last one, so that's where.
Okay, yeah, it was. It must have been last week or the week before.
Yeah, well, last week he released his issue. I know he gives time after they publish, so it's been probably done for a while, and now he's just done the video. But yeah, we'll leave a link in the description below because definitely send him some likes. All
Yeah.
6 of our viewers
Yeah,
should go see
definitely,
him.
because the times I've listened to him to catch up or whatever, it's
Mhm.
a very quick way to go through the book, almost kind of like a book on tape.
Yeah. Like I'm at the point where I really wish I could just rip it and put it onto my iPod and listen to it because I mean
Yeah,
it's entertaining.
yeah,
But yeah, so definitely go check out the Comic Story and their channels. Check out the new Captain America title. I mean, I'm excited for it. I
yeah.
liked changing up a little bit. I thought they'd give a little bit more time. Obviously, knew that Steve Rogers was going to come back.
Yeah, I mean, it's a soap opera type thing. The death, they come back, or they get into something, they come back. I mean, it was bound to
Yeah,
happen.
because we live in an age where no one stays dead except for us. But so let's move on from comic news to our favorite topic, which is toy news.
Toy news.
We have two topics right now, and one I'm extremely excited about, and one you're extremely excited about.
Yeah.
So I'll mention mine first. Basically, backstory. I went to Hot Topic to get my Batman v Superman figures. Grant, they're all sold out. I only got Batman so far. Been looking for Nightmare Batman, and I've also been looking for Armored Batman.
These are pop figures. Just
Oh, did I not say pop figures? My bad.
like.
Funko Pop figures. But so I could not find the one I really wanted, which was the Armored Batman. And like, I remember I was scrolling through my Instagram, and Funko had released an image of their new collector subscription,
Yes.
which is Legion of Collectors.
For fans of pop, this is similar to your Marvel Collector Core, or the Star Wars whatever Bounty, whatever.
Yeah, the
Smuggler's Bounty.
That was
Yes.
it. But this one seems to have a lot more promise.
Then I thought the Marvel one was pretty good.
The collector core is great.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, that one is just doing spectacular. That's why
Yeah, and I'm assuming that this DC one is going to be on par.
oh yeah, because I know a lot of people were disappointed with Smuggler's Bounty because the exclusive figures they released weren't.
That's good.
Yeah, like it was a Chrome Captain Phasma,
Yeah.
and then I think it was a Tie Fighter with special markings or something. Whereas people really wanted like figures. I was expecting Finn with a lightsaber to come up.
I mean, I know Funko has license, and they get around it with this bobblehead thing, but Star Wars is a tough license when it comes to figures. I mean, Hasbro has the lock on any kind of action figure.
Mhm.
Companies get around it, obviously creating model kits, or like the pop figures with the bobbleheads. But I would imagine that they cannot get the rights to some of those sculpts,
Yeah.
some of those characters,
Mhm.
and because of the lock, on the characters themselves.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the Legion of Collectors has some of the similar issues that the Smuggler's Bounties did, where it will only ship to the U.S. and Canada. And I know there are a lot of foreign fans who were really irritated because now they have to wait for someone else to get and then ship it out to them.
Yeah, which is going to cost them more money.
It's gonna cost them more money, but I understand.
Yeah.
And yes, you can see the success of the Marvel Collector Core because that one has done spectacular.
So
I
the
mean,
collector core ships, but this one does not. Huh?
nope, Collector Core does ship outside the country,
So I
but
wonder what makes it different.
I just think that Collector Core I don't know if they shipped. Yeah, I think they shipped from the very beginning out of country.
I mean, I know international shipping is tough, but
I think they were worried because they were testing it with Smuggler's Bounty and it did not do well. And so I think they're gonna test the waters and then expand it.
yeah.
But I mean, from what I've read, they haven't said exactly what's gonna be in it. But they said it's very gonna be, excuse me, be very similar to the Collector Core, which will be the exclusive figure. Which the first box will have Armored Batman, which
Which is
I'm
pretty
done.
sweet.
Yeah, I'm done. And you can order it for $25 monthly or bi-monthly, or you do the 150 for the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll get Armored Batman. You'll get an apparel, so it most likely is going to be a T-shirt.
Yeah.
You might get a badge and a patch like the Collector Core
Yeah,
does.
they do like a collector patch, correct?
Yes.
Like each month's a different one.
That's what Collector Core does. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that
I think it's probably going to be
probably something like that, and then they'll give you maybe an additional figure like a keychain, a Funko keychain or something.
Like mini ones.
Yeah. So ooh, it would be cool if the minifigures were something from Suicide Squad.
That would be cool.
That'd be really cool.
And that'd be a good way, because is it going to be bi-monthly?
Yes, bi-monthly.
So do we know if it's the opposite months of collector core?
I think it's gonna be the same months.
Ooh.
That's well,
Because
I'm pretty
opposite
su-
month would make it a lot easier for collectors.
yeah.
But-
Actually it no. I'm trying to think. It should be because I know it ends like you have until March 1st to make your order.
Yeah.
So it would come out in March, and I think the next Marble Core is in February, so it might be opposite
Yeah,
months.
I would
Okay.
imagine they probably did it opposite, just to keep the dollar spread.
Yeah.
Because what is it like by the time you get done shipping, like 35, $40?
Oh yeah, 35.
Yeah.
Because I made a mistake. I keep going down with my stories. So I basically get two boxes shipped to me. Because for Christmas I got my friend who I used to work with at the bank. I got him a box for Christmas, and I forgot the email I made for the second account that I made, and so they just keep shipping it to me. And so I'm like, oh crap. Well, so he just puts money into he sends me
Yeah.
money, and then I just give him the box. So
Laundering the money.
yeah, but I mean, I'm very excited for Legion of Collectors.
Yeah, I mean, it looked really cool when I saw it. I mean, the figure itself looked pretty cool.
Hmm.
They came out swinging. They got like this
Oh yeah,
armored
and it's
thing.
just like Marvel Corps came out swing with a 6-inch Hulkbuster, which to this date is still probably one of the best top
Yeah,
figures I have.
I wish they would do a 6 inch. I don't know, like a
Oh,
6 inch, like because I feel like that's like swinging, for the fences on the first try. This one cool design, 6 inch would have been cool. But I mean, not Batman because it would have been correct scale.
oh, it would have been cool to have a 6-inch armored Batman.
But it
But
wouldn't have been correct scale.
yeah,
So it
true.
already pops.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was my exciting bit of
Yep.
news. So what do you have to bring
Well,
to us in the?
well, actually, I'm gonna hijinks, and I'm gonna throw one other one in there. The
Oh,
controversy surrounding the release of the new figures that DC has launched for the Dawn of Justice movie. Have you heard this?
mm-mm.
Basically, the way it sounds from everything I've seen is that they come packed with mostly Batman. So you go to the store and you're trying to find your Wonder Woman or your Superman, and I believe Flash is the other one they have in this group.
Aquaman.
Is that the? I think there's a Flash, but it's not tied to the movie.
Oh, okay.
So like the line itself has characters from the movie, but there's also, I believe, a Flash in this
Okay.
one. Well, Wonder Woman apparently is one figure per pack, so finding Wonder Woman right now is tough. And this ties into the whole issue
Oh,
with
God.
lack of female figures.
And that's what they did with Ray. Learn,
but,
people.
But like, okay, so like the thing with Ray, okay, people are complaining that Ray isn't a figure. Wave 2 of a lot of the Star Wars stuff is tied to Ray, and now everybody's like, "Oh, look, everybody, they listened to us." No, they didn't. These figures were planned, or these toys were planned months ago.
Yeah, this
it's just
wasn't
the
a
release
surprise.
wave. Like, you think that a toy is like, "Oh, you complain in December because Ray is not a figure," and then, oh wait, in January, they've already created a whole new thing tied around Ray. That's not how this works. So, but like, I mean, it's just perpetuating this problem. And I don't know that toy companies are actually going to listen. I
Mhm.
mean, because if you go to any Target right now, you might still find a Slave Leia hanging on the shelf, unless they just took it down because it wouldn't sell.
Yeah.
I mean, female figures in the past have not done as well. Part of that is because female figures tend to be more scantily clad, and you really see joints, you really see pins if they have to put pins in it, because the skin tone does not hide it.
Mhm.
So the figure ends up not looking as good as some of the other figures. That tends to be why figures don't sell as well.
Okay.
And I mean, from a collector standpoint,
Mhm.
because I mean, there probably are kids out there, their parents just go in and buy them, whatever. But if you're buying a $20 DC action figure or a $20 Star Wars figure, it's more than likely a collector. It's an adult collector. It's not a kid. The kid's not walking in like, "Oh, I'm going to drop 20 on this." They're like, "Hey, man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is on TV and their figures are $7.95. I'm going to go buy that from Playmates."
Yeah, I remember back. Well, I don't remember. I was told about it. Like back when the animated series first finally got their figures out, the Harley Quinn was
The new animated series ones or the original?
the
The
original.
original.
Yes.
Okay.
Not the new after the 75th anniversary, but
Yeah.
this was like back in the 90s. But yeah, Harley Quinn was like one per box,
Yeah.
and
Well, and she was a new character.
Yeah.
It was probably a risk to make a toy to see if she was going to be successful.
Well, I will say at the time that this is a completely different climate than it was back then. I think the level of being a collector of things has changed.
Well, I mean, yes, but at the time, so we're in the meeting, right?
Mhm.
Probably approximately a year and a half, 2 years in advance to make this toy, and the animators or the people behind the scenes producers are like, "Hey, we've got this new character. Her name's Harley Quinn. Okay, I could make a Batman that probably will sell because it's Batman, and the kid that watches Batman the animated series knows who that guy is.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could make Harley Quinn, who's a new character, who's a sidekick kind of character for Joker. Yeah, I'll go ahead and make 2 more Batmans.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of how
it's
at the end of the day, these toys companies got to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're sitting in a planning meeting, people are going to complain eventually that you didn't release a figure, but are those people going to buy that are complaining? I mean, similar to Toys R Us, having to strike the the more adult type figures from like NECA and people like that. Oh, we can't sell these in our store anymore. Breaking Bad, remember the controversy with the mom and all that stuff. It's just hard for them to commit because no matter what they do, it seems that they get people complaining.
Yeah.
And the question is, will they buy them?
Mm-hmm. Well, I know this, like the Slave Leia issue. People start. I think they said the sales of it went up because people were afraid of it going away.
Oh yeah.
But it's like,
I mean, I bought it because I have the Jabba the Hutt SDCC release that has like the palace and everything,
mm-hmm.
so I toss her on there. But like, the figure doesn't even stand that well. I mean, it's just a hard figure because of the joints. They had to be the way they were because it's a smaller legs, smaller arms.
Yeah.
It's just a smaller figure, so it makes it harder, and it in turn made it look bad. So it's hard for people to justify spending $20 when I could buy this really cool Han Solo figure instead.
Yeah.
Where the joints aren't showing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it kind of comes down to.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was that big of an issue.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people complain about it because, people want the Batman,
mm-hmm.
but they also want Superman, who was packed shorter too, because obviously DC Universe, Batman's probably the highest selling figure.
Yeah.
So Superman was packed lower. Wonder Woman was packed lower.
I wonder if they're putting in the statistics the fact that there are more Batman figures. So there's probably Nightmare Batman, regular Batman. There are probably different versions of Batman compared to Superman, which is just going to be one, or Aquaman, that's going to be one type.
Yeah, and the Flash, it's just not because it's a DC Universe, I believe, figure. It's not necessarily tied to the movie, but they're releasing figures in the line to then continue hyping the movie. It's not it's not a Dawn of Justice branded.
Okay,
line,
I understand.
But the figures are based on Dawn of Justice.
Okay, so
then they also have some other things that are going on in the DC universe.
Okay, I thought we were talking about a
Dawn of Justice.
Specifically, okay.
But basically, this wave is Dawn of Justice. If you have Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman.
Okay.
And then we throw Flash Guy.
Gotcha.
But I mean, the figures from what I've seen look pretty good. I saw them at Toys R Us. I only saw Batman. But
that's all I want. So.
But yeah, I mean, they look good. The one I saw, I mean, that line's generally pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
They've had some pretty good lines in the past. It's not something I collect. I just think it's an interesting topic because of the situation around it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, and moving on to the next topic here, we're actually going to talk about Mattel. As many of you know or may not know, there's a special line of figures that comes from Mattel called, and they don't sell them in stores. It's Matty Collector. So MattyCollector.com. And what they tend to do and what they're known for the most is they actually create the Master of the Universe Classics line. They basically create redone versions of the classic figures and new, way better, well, in some cases, way better designs and create a whole new awesome line of figures for collectors. Well, the latest addition to this site is going to be the Thundercats line that they are calling Earth. It has another name.
Third
I just don't have Third Earth. Yes, Third Earth. Yes. And the line's going to include 4 figures and a subscription exclusive that you can only get via the subscription. They actually do release the main 4 figures. They'll release those via the Matty Collector site once they're actually produced. But this way you can guarantee all your figures. You can guarantee that you're going to get them and not have to worry about fighting online when they become available. But the cool thing about this line is they actually hired the same sculptors, which are the 4 Horsemen, and they fit the same scale, the same muscled up size, as the Master Universe figures.
Oh, cool. So it's consistent.
So it's consistent. So I mean, the Thundercats back in the day and Master Universe, they, many of these kids, they were on TV at the same time. Kids would mix and match, and they'd be fighting each other and all that kind of stuff. So this is kind of a cool way that these figures are all in the same scale. They're all in the same style, and it's just a cool way to bring those into this Master of the Universe classics, like not in the line, but like in the same collector verse, you know. And it's just kind of cool to see them. They revealed them last year at SDCC. There were some complaints about the sculpt, specifically heads on Lino, but they redid those.
Was it too small, or was it just
It just kind of looked a little wonky.
okay?
It was just probably whatever source material they used. But the Four Horsemen went back. They took that criticism. They said, you know what, we can make this better, and they did before it went into production. And now we've got this better head. So I thought that was cool. I mean, these are cool guys that they've been making action figures a long time. They're probably top tier action figure sculptors. Nobody would question that.
Well, I like the idea that they're putting all the figures out. Like that's very convenient
Yeah.
for collectors. I know with me and Pops,
Yep.
I like to hunt the Pops. I like to go
Yeah.
to the store and like look for them
Yeah.
and
Part of it is the hunt.
yeah, the hunt. Whereas this is like like I know people who are really into Black Series figures for Star Wars and
Yep.
frustrated that hey it took forever for me to.
You
They don't
can't
want
find
the
them.
hunt. They want the figure then.
Well, it's so with the Star Wars Black Series figure, I'm one of those people that gets very frustrated because I can't go to the store and buy it. I want to go hunt. I want that.
Yeah.
But that requires me to go to Target 2 times a week and see the same 2 peg hangers, either Greedo, Slave Leia, or Finn.
Oh, no, trust me, I'm in the same boat right now because with Funko, they just released the new Walgreens exclusive, and I live down the street from one. I'm at that stupid Walgreens twice a week, and all I see is Olaf. No one wants an Olaf figure.
But back to the subscription service
Yeah.
for the Thundercats. They're approximately $25 a figure. They do have 2 options that you can buy. You can either get the monthly delivery, where they'll charge you the $25 plus shipping for each one of those each month, or you can buy this one in a one-shot deal. You get all 4 plus the subscription exclusive figure, and you don't have to deal with it. You pay shipping one time, tax one time, and you're done.
Hmm.
So if you've subscribed to this in the past, the Masters Universe lines or any of the other things they've launched through there, this is a really awesome way to do it. Prior, you either had the monthly option or the quarterly option. Shipping is rather high from this product.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've done monthly in the past, and like I regretted it so bad because it's like ends up being about $40 a figure for a $27 figure.
Yeah.
So you're like, crap.
I just spent tons more.
Yeah. So it got really expensive really quick. So these are slated to start coming out in September. But if you do the one-time ship, I believe you would not expect that until about December,
Okay.
January, depending because they don't ship them to you until they've all come out.
Oh, okay.
Because
So it's not one at a time. It's at the very, very end.
well, it depends on which one you take. So if you take the option to do monthly, you'll get them as you go, and you pay more money.
Okay.
If you want them at the end and not have to deal with the multiple shipping and the multiple tax, then go with the one-time deal.
Gotcha.
And to me, that's the route to go.
All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, I'm at the point now where if I could just get all the things that I wanted at one go and save myself the money and the stress.
Like with the black figures, I used to do from Big Bag Toy Store, I would just order the case.
Mhm.
But now they've come out with so many Black Figure series figures, and some of the quality's been up and down, that I finally just decided I'm not ordering all of them anymore. So I'm just buying the ones I want because I'm running out of A, space, and B, like some of these characters, I'm like, yeah, it'd be cool to have it, but I don't necessarily need it.
Mm-hmm.
So my main focus now is on the Dark Side-esque figures, so
Okay.
like
Empire Sith.
Empire, Sith, any kind of the bad guys, and I'll probably get Old Man Han Solo, and maybe something else might catch my eye. I don't know when these are slated to come out now, but they did reveal that Rebels is going into the Black Series. I figured that was big news for you. They revealed that actually at SDCC last year, but I have not seen any pre-orders or anything like that popping up.
Okay, I was gonna look.
So I'm assuming that that's going to hit after this wave of the new episode 7 figures, and it would probably be, I'm guessing, in the spring or summertime.
I wonder, are they gonna look like?
No, they fit into the
Ooh,
Black
that's-
Series, so they're more realistic.
Okay, well now I know I'm collecting.
Oh, they're sweet. Yeah, I don't even watch that show that much, and like I was like, oh, these are kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, that's my favorite.
I believe there's only 2. I think the line has 2 Rebels figures and a prequel figure,
Okay.
and maybe one.
Maybe.
Oh, and I think the other one is the New Hope Luke. I think that's the wave that'll have that. At
Okay.
least that's how they revealed them at SDCC last year. But we'll know a lot more after New York Toy Fair.
Okay.
So New York Toy Fair should be pretty interesting.
And when's
Should
New York
be-
Toy Fair?
Should be in February, I think.
Okay.
We can look that up though. We can talk about it maybe next time.
Yeah.
Because there'll be some news rolling out soon.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So in the next coming weeks, we'll have a lot more.
Yeah. Toy.
We might have
Toy
a podcast
Fair.
solely focused on
Yeah.
Toy
And
Fair.
if you guys are interested in Toy Fair news, my favorite guy to watch is Pixel Dan. He actually has a YouTube channel where he reviews toys and goes to events and things. And Pixel Dan does an amazing job covering New York Toy Fair. So I would definitely suggest go ahead and follow him because those videos will be coming.
Yeah. All right. Well, that looks like the end of all the news we have this week. I mean, we hit the hour mark again.
Woohoo!
Yep. So, as always, I mean, thanks for listening to this to the episode 3 of the Token Nerd podcast.
And if you get time, thanks for listening to the Lost episode.
Yeah. Once it's up, once we fight YouTube and get that episode up, but do us a favor, hit that subscribe button. That way we know that you guys like our episodes. Comment down below. Let us know what you like about the episode and if you don't like, and so we can kind of adjust. And like I said, we're still learning. We're still in the early basis of the podcast. But yeah, so hit the like, subscribe, comment down below, and check out our other videos.
Also make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at token_nerd.
See, that's why you have him around, because I definitely forgot. Yep, Token _nerd on both Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
Yep. So check us out there. There will be links down in the description down below. As always, I'm Anthony.
And I'm Travis.
Stay spicy, everybody.